that shit, dude.
Quick, put your glasses back on. Don't let anyone see your eyes. It's got to be the running joke.
You don't want his identity to be revealed.
That's got to be the running joke is you never take your sunglasses off.
Oh, like I'm Wilson from Home Improvement?
Yeah.
Here we go.
If anyone really likes the show, they can go back to the first 1 second of this first episode ever, and then they'll see your eyes for 1 second. Because we just went live. So welcome everyone
cool.
to
Yeah, I just saw it.
The Degree 45 podcast. This is Weekly Narrative. Jeremy from Weekly Narrative. We're here with Danielle from That's Just My Opinion, and Kut from Kut Productions INC. We're here to hang out, have a chat, talk about whatever, politics, culture. Here at Degree 45, we can always find a way to meet in the middle. And I just made that up off the top of my head, but you can't even believe how good it was because it makes so much sense. 45 degrees. Kut, President Trump, the 45th degree, 45th president. Yeah, a little bit of a double entendre with the name there. But let's start.
Yeah, right down the middle. We're right down the middle.
Yeah, we kind of, we're not alt-right. First of all, let's get that out of the way so that, all the people that are going to call us alt-right, and there's going to be thousands, maybe millions of people that call us alt-right, Nazis, et cetera, a lot of that for sure. Because we're going to have opinions that are different from people, but we all tend to be, I would say, somewhat centered. I'm more of a classical liberal, and the other guys I would probably classify as conservative to some degree. I don't know. What do you guys think? Where do you want? How do you want to describe yourself for people just tuning in?
I'm so open-minded. I am very open-minded.
I'm open-minded and I want to hear things, but I would say that I'm probably the most conservative out of the three of us. But not on a lot of social issues. One in particular is abortion I'm against, and I'll put that one out there, and that's probably going to be a heavy topic that I'm going to get hated on or loved about. So, but that's really my one conservative social, no nos.
No nos. All right.
No nos.
I don't think I have any no-nos. Kind of my thing is but I'm not religious or anything like that, so I don't have any real convictions, morally per se. But yeah, kind of my thing is that if I hear a good set of facts, then I'll change my mind on certain things, and I've done it before. I mean, in this last presidential election, I went through 3 different candidates that I was interested in, and I gave money to Bernie Sanders. I'll admit that openly. I actually donated to Bernie Sanders at one point. Forgive me. I knew not what I did. Forgive me for that. But yeah, it's I try to keep an open mind, and I think we're all open-minded here to some degree, which is a cool part because we want to have a lot of guests on that don't necessarily share our opinions. We want to talk about ideas. I think it's actually more interesting to talk about disagreements than it is to talk about stuff that you agree on. You know what I mean? We could just get on here every day and say, "Oh, I agree with this," or "This was bad, that was bad. Trump is awesome, this and that." But that would be boring as hell, right? We have to disagree on some things.
We could all agree on that.
Right?
No, you're not supposed to agree.
I agree to disagree on some things.
Right? Let's all agree to disagree.
So what kind of crazy shit's going on lately that we can talk about?
Starbucks, Kim Jong-un's denuclearization plan.
Do you think Trump's going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war in Korea and making friends with Kim Jong-un? No.
The meeting's even already being looked at as it's being prematurely decided on as a disaster by these networks like CNN and such. I was reading today how his plan to meet with Kim Jong-un, it's I believe with good intention, but they're already bashing it without the meeting even being the location being set. Has it been set yet? I know, wasn't it Moscow wanted to host it or something?
Wait,
Mongolia.
Moscow. That would be hilarious if it was Moscow.
I was like Mongolia. I've got my M's everywhere, but Mongolia.
Yeah, who was the guy that went? What was the guy's name? Creole.
Right. Oh wait. Are you
the guy that met with Kim Jong-un, Pompeo?
Yeah, Pompeo.
I was like Creole. I was thinking of dessert.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, he went with him over, I guess, Easter, right?
Right over Easter, and he went over there and talked with them about meeting, and then the whole fact that he's even willing to meet is huge. I would say for a huge thing for Trump. It's almost like making peace, but there's always the less optimistic people who are going to say, well, he's coming in for different reasons. He's coming to take from the U.S. He's going to manipulate, use Trump's simple-minded, and everyone on the left's mind. So they think that he can't handle this meeting. But, not even just the left. This is something that everybody should know about me. Love Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, if you ever see this, I love you. And anyways, he even talked about how.
Me too, Ben. I like Ben.
don't.
I'm more of a Milo guy, personally.
Actually, I'm more of a Milo guy, to be honest with you.
He even talks about how the meeting would be silly on Trump's end because Kim Jong-un knows that if he comes in and promises to end his nuclearization program, that we have to give him something in return. He's looking for something. And that's just, obviously the skeptical.
Dennis Rodman. I say we give him Dennis Rodman. That's what he wants. I think the American people will be okay with that, and I think Kim Jong-un would be more than happy to have.
I think
Dennis
Dennis
Rodman.
would be happy too.
I think Dennis might be happy too. You never know. Can't tell with old Dennis.
I'm sure he gets treated well when he goes over there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is just it's such an advancement that we're not even recognizing. I was laughing in the car with my friend on the way home this morning from out of town about a tweet that Trump made. I can't even remember how long ago it was. Not that long ago, talking about Kim Jong-un's statement that he's got the nuclear button, and it was just this tweet just tearing him apart, talking about his deprived, starved regime. Somebody tell him, I'm making a joke out of this guy. And now they're coming together and meeting to discuss, negotiating peace, negotiating different policies. And I think that that's huge, and that's something that we need to actually look at versus saying, oh, he's just going to ruin everything like always, but he, like always, Anyways.
Well, it's the biggest advancement towards something productive over there that we've seen in a long time, right? I mean, you consider what we've seen movement-wise in the politics or the relationship between North Korea and everybody else. This is the most significant thing to happen in probably my lifetime, I think, as far as I can remember anyway. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they want. I mean, maybe they're probably all just starving to death in that country, and then Kim Jong-un is like, all right, we're out of rice. People are eating dirt. They're like literally eating dirt. China's kind of mad at them for some reason, so they're not really. Well, they're not. They discontinued exports of coal, right, to China or something like that recently.
China's always kind of been even hesitant with. We were worried about that was everybody's big concern in the beginning. At least in college, everybody's a liberal in college. Besides me, I guess. But so in college, I would hear a lot about how China, now we're going to be at war with China because we're tampering and, screwing around with North Korea. So now we're screwing around and picking on China, and that's a big no-no. But China even said, if North Korea strikes first, we're out. But if, the United States comes in on our ally, we kind of have to take charge there. I think it's extremely, extremely progressive. It's something positive to look forward to. And I think that, President Trump has proven himself, regardless of what people would like to, say otherwise, has proven himself to be pretty intelligent, at least business-wise, at least building up his, regardless. His reputation's a little bit shattered on the left, but building up his image to be a president from a businessman is like he knows what he's doing. He knows how to talk. He knows how to negotiate. He knows how to make deals. He's proven that his first year in office, he knows how to make improvements. And I think that we need to let him come in and make improvements and try to make improvements. We haven't been nuked yet, Hey.
Well,
I kind of wish. Sometimes I wish we
that's
have
a pretty
been.
optimistic way of looking at it, but I also think, no matter what he does, whether it's good or bad, he's just going to get criticized. I mean, left and right. I mean, Alex Jones, I guess, even is not too happy with because of you're not going to please everybody, I guess, and not everyone's going to agree with everything that he does. I don't agree with everything that he does. But I do want to say, did you guys see this, to try to change the topic a little bit, that movie, Quiet Place? I watched a Crowder episode. Did you guys see that movie?
No, but I heard it was good.
It was an awesome movie, but it got a lot of heat from the left. because there's a woman in it who's pregnant, and she'll go through anything to protect her kid. And then they put the oxygen mask on the kid to protect her from these monsters. And then they also use guns to go after these monsters. And also there wasn't a black superhero in it. So they left just to has been going nuts for the movie. And but I just thought it was kind of funny. And Crowder's thing was, what he was saying was, is he thinks that Krasinski, I think is the guy's name, the star, and Emily Blunt are going to go on to an apology tour. Kind of like what the Starbucks guy, he's doing right now, pretty much, is going on an apology tour and apologizing for what happened with these two guys at Philadelphia. So yeah, I just think it's funny that you have to apologize for not being politically correct. That's all I wanted to bring up.
It's funny that you talked about guns and African American heroes, because I actually read an article about yesterday, I believe early in the morning, like 4 a.m, a man tried to gun down a Waffle House in Tennessee with an assault rifle, and a black man attacked him through one of the swinging doors, got him to the ground, threw his gun over the counter, and grabbed the man and pushed him out of the door, and got,
I'm wondering why we haven't heard more about that. Like, I just read about that this morning. Yeah, that's...
Right. It should be a huge headline. What I read, the quotes, I don't know if this is from Fox, but from what I've read from Fox...
The no spin zone.
Said that his quotes directly were, I want everyone to know that I wasn't doing, this for I wasn't doing this for anybody but myself. It was kind of like a selfish act. He would basically saying it was a selfish act.
The shooter said that?
No, the hero.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not taking really any, honor or credibility.
So did the guy kill him? Did he kill the guy that came in with the AR, or did he?
No, he just grabbed him and shoved him out, and the guy apparently stripped naked and then ran away.
Yeah, they have suspects.
Hold on, this is all over the place. Okay, so a guy goes into a Waffle House with an AR-15.
Yes.
Another guy doesn't shoot him. He pushes him out.
This guy walks in. He has shot 2 people in the parking lot. Walks in with the AR-15, starts blowing out windows and glass, and I guess this guy got a rush of energy and just kind of rushed the guy. He got shot in the arm. And he said in that moment, it was either, I'm going to die or I'm going to fight for it. And I'm going to fight for it if I'm going to.
This guy ain't interrupting my breakfast right now, is pretty much what he was saying.
It was really funny because, I hate to even make this comment, but I was laughing with my friend about this. It's like, the setting is like 3:45 a.m. and he's like kind of like spacey on details. And I'm like, so this man was clearly a little bit intoxicated more than likely going into Waffle House at 3 a.m. He had like this.
Like Denny's. But yeah, so he takes him out, and then the guy. So then the guy takes. Why does the guy? So then the guy takes his clothes off and starts sprinting out of the place.
What I read was that he was only wearing a green hoodie. This again is Fox. I'm gonna go ahead and see where I'm getting my information. He was wearing a green hoodie. The shooter, I don't know. They literally said only green hoodie, and that he took off and ran away naked, and they used the word naked. So I'm really not sure if he was like in the nude when he came in shooting on the bottom. I don't know what was going on, what the purpose of that would be, what sort of, where are we trying to get across with that? But yeah, I guess he discarded the one item of clothing that he was wearing, and the man described him as jogging off.
Jogging off.
The story just kept getting more and more intense. But it was the funny part that I was laughing at is the man basically coming out and saying, "Yeah, this was a selfish act." He's like, "I was not doing this for anyone but myself." And I was like,
I wonder if the left could use that by saying like, well, that just goes to show you they didn't need guns. He just needed a little cocaine in his system and a pair of balls to charge at the shooter.
And a desire for waffles.
Yeah, he said we were, my friend and I.
Get out of my Waffle House.
He's a hero, and I would love to call him a hero, but he doesn't want to take the compliment. So I guess we can crack jokes about,
So what about that Gaskell
situation? The nude shooter. I mean, either way, it's remarkable. He saved lives, and he, you know, deserves credit for that, whether he wants to take it or not. But yeah, very interesting situation.
So
There were
gas
4
mask.
fatalities from what I've read.
What was that guy's name? The guy that was it Gaskell, the guy that did stop the shooter in Maryland.
Yeah.
You haven't heard anything about that, but I did hear that he didn't shoot the shooter.
Yeah, I heard something about that too.
Are they saying the shooter committed suicide before he shot him?
I think what I heard is that he shot at him, but the shooter did kill himself. Yeah.
Okay, so that was kind of the debate. Was they were giving him credit in the beginning, and everybody was like, "It hasn't been determined yet. You know who killed the man that or
Which
the
isn't
shooter."
even the point. That doesn't even matter because the cop is shooting at you. The kid's gonna be like, oh well, it's over. All right, you know he ended the situation. The cop ended it regardless of what actually happened. So, but I'm looking at a video of this guy, the Waffle House guy. And he's doing like a press conference, and he's just standing there like, "Why am I even here? This is so stupid."
I watched the video today. I'm actually funny. I'm gonna actually pull up the direct quote because it had me giggling a little bit about how he did not want the credit.
Well, here's a little bit. I'm just gonna read from the CNN article for people that aren't aware, and I'm gonna pop it up on the screen too. Police warn that a gunman accused of killing 4 people early Sunday at a Waffle House near Nashville is on the run, armed and dangerous. Authorities.
Oh yeah, he naked too.
Yeah, so that's a white guy. It's a white suspect, 29 years old. He has a rifle and a handgun, and they say that he's let's see. There's no apparent motive, no apparent reason, and let's see. After Rankin fled the scene of the shooting completely naked, police believe he went to his apartment, put on a pair of pants, and may have escaped into the woods.
This just gets getting more and more entertaining. So
it's on CNN too, so you know they had to add some extra shit to make that thing.
Yeah. Well, what I don't understand is
not only was the gunman nude and running through the woods, he had 3 scoops of ice cream.
He was white though, so the shooter was white. The guy who saved it was black. They were using an AR-15. This is like the perfect story for the left to just pick up and run with, at full speed. Why isn't this all over? Why isn't this all over the news? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Also, on the same vein, coincidentally or not coincidentally, 2 cops were shot when they were 3 days ago or something like that in Florida. Did you guys hear about that one at all? 2 cops were killed?
I heard something about some police officers getting killed. It's kind of like a...
Yeah, so a guy gets escorted peacefully out of Starbucks. We hear about that on the news for 2 months straight. 2 cops get shot in an ambush-style attack in a restaurant, and they get killed. You don't even hear about it on the news. So that's where we're at right now. Just to give everyone a little barometer reading, that's where we're at.
Hey, when you put a screen up and I see it on Facebook, could you put a video up with audio at the same time, or no, that wouldn't work?
Yeah, I could.
While we're on the topic, I want to talk about Starbucks when we get the chance, since we keep kind of dabbling in it, but not really.
Well, Starbucks is the one that everybody wants to talk about.
Because if we could just watch that Starbucks
get into
it.
Which one?
I don't know. I don't know. Is there a bunch?
Well, so I've seen a girl on Twitch. No, she got kicked off of Twitch or something like that. She was on YouTube, a white girl going around to Starbucks in New York claiming she was half black and saying that, hey, you guys owe me a free coffee because I'm half black and I heard you guys are racist. And she got free coffee. They just gave her free coffee. She's completely white. But there's also probably the one that everyone else saw was the dreadlocked black dude who was going in saying, hey, I heard you were racist. I want a free coffee or something like that. And I think he was actually, he's kind of demonstrating Starbucks's, weakness, I guess you would call it. But he's not trying to actually play the victim. He's trying to show how terribly stupid Starbucks is, that they'll just give you a free coffee when you say, I heard you were racist, I'm black.
I'm going to try that because I really enjoy coffee and Starbucks products, even though whatever the company, regardless what they stand for, regardless what they've done. We'll get into this because, as Jeremy said, we want to talk all about it. But I do love their coffee. It's really great, guys. I'm not trying to promote, but hey.
I'm not a coffee guy. I'm not really a coffee guy, but I did have them a couple of times. They were good, but now I don't want to give them my business because of their response to this.
I think America runs on Dunkin'. Did you know that they did a Dunkin' Donuts in Phoenix, Arizona, I believe, during the primaries, and they came out with red, white, and blue donuts. Just like during the whole protest.
You saying Dunkin' is white nationalist?
They came out with red, white, and blue donuts. So I guess that's what happens. And but yeah, it was crazy. It was all over the news, and I thought it was hilarious. And then they do their thing at the America runs on Dunkin'. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think fuck Starbucks.
We don't have Dunkins out here in California. That's probably why, because they have flag donuts. You can't have flag donuts in California.
Can't have flag donuts.
No.
I really love Dunkin' Donuts, but the manager in my local Dunkin' Donuts sucks. We have quarreled.
Quarreled?
We have.
Have you challenged him to a duel?
It was a female, and yeah, I was in the car, and we left the drive-thru, but she threw my card on the ground and then didn't tell me, and I was like, hey, can you give me my card back? She told me it was on the ground, and she just been rude the whole entire time, so I probably didn't have my coffee, was a little bit fed up with the whole thing, and went back in and was like, give me my red, white, and blue donuts and my coffee because I'm half black.
You're passing. You can pass as half black, I think.
Thanks.
That's a joke.
That's great.
That's a joke.
I was trying to say. This is like definitely orangish or brown hair. Probably look at me as if.
Yeah, but it's funny because Starbucks would still say, "Oh yeah, okay, here you go," and they would still give you one.
Bright blue eyes. They'd be like, "Sure, take it."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could see that. Well, the funny thing is about Starbucks is everyone that works there is like social justice warrior, feminists, like shaved head anyway, you know what I mean? Like those are the people now who are suffering. You've seen these pictures of like these bald dudes who they love Bernie Sanders. They're standing there while these black people are yelling at them with a megaphone saying Starbucks is racist, and they just hate their lives. And these shaved head lesbians have to give out all these free drinks to the everyone that comes in saying that they're racist. So it's like, I think they're going to start to see a little bit of how their movement and how that movement is not necessarily a good thing. And once they're on the personal receiving end of that, which they now are, they're going to realize their eyes are going to open up. They're going to maybe get a little bit closer to that red pill.
I saw a really funny meme that I wish I could show it, but my phone would the lighting would be all weird. It said something along the lines. It had a guy screaming. I can send it to you and we can pop it up.
Yeah, send me a link.
All right, go ahead and talk about it then. Let's talk about the classes that they're all being, or like they're shutting down 80,000 of their locations, right?
8,000.
Or is it 8,000?
Yeah.
8,000 of their locations. For some week in May, they're doing the racial discrimination, to promote to
bias
advocate
training.
Against. Right. That's what it is. All right, I'm gonna look this up and send you the link.
So the problem is with bias training, in my opinion anyway, not just necessarily in my opinion, but I think this has actually been studied and documented, is that when you have this diversity, quote unquote diversity training, or like unconscious bias training, it actually increases the amount of discrimination that the average person is actually going to commit. Because when this is exactly how this has happened in the past 5 years, is the progressive left, they point out racism where it doesn't necessarily exist. They call people racist who aren't actually racist. So what is the result of that? Even when you're not racist, if you look at a black guy or whatever, you're more likely to think, you have a thought of, wait a second, okay, how am I going to react to this guy? How do I behave around this person? Because I have to recall all of my bias training and all of my diversity training. So you're going to tend to discriminate against these people more. And that's been the reality up to this point. So
hostility between, I feel like, two separate races, or even the same race in this company, not wanting to screw up again. But even beyond that, it's like what this whole thing is promoting in general, or even it's just going to be, like you said, it just promotes, I think, a weaker response to it overall, because it's going to be uncomfortable. You have to really think through, like, is this appropriate? I mean, that's kind of how this world works in general now anyways, but now it's being heightened, and they're taking classes on it and losing money for it, and handing out free coffee and losing money there. So
I think people are tired, though. I think these incidences with Starbucks and stuff of the NFL, kind of everything we kind of see from the far left is what's going to get him reelected in 2020, is what's going to get Trump reelected, I think. I said it when I went to the leftist protests. I went down the right to the middle to the protests, and I was like, you're the reason he got elected and that he's going to get elected again. And it's true. I mean, you see, listening to these people, if you just have a brain cell, maybe not even half brain, and you just listen to them a little bit,
to ask.
You'll start to you become more and more right leaning when you listen to them. But that's not all of them.
Yes, I got your meme. It's going up on screen right now.
I was like waiting to see if that reaction was for me.
Yeah, so this is the exact picture that I was talking about, and it's the guy who's standing there staring, the 1,000-yard stare, like, that military veterans get after they kill somebody. He's standing there with that look on his face as probably an illegal immigrant is yelling into his face with a megaphone.
Right.
Let me see if that's I'll see it.
Are you able to get it up?
Oh, it was up. Yep.
Oh,
and all of its,
you throw Don Lemon in our conversation all the time. You got to put that one. Speaking of people who like to throw the race card around, race baiting everyone, saying, why are we offended at being called racist if we're not racist? I don't understand either. I mean, why would I be offended by an offensive comment?
Keep Don Lemon out of this as much as possible, but he might pop in at some point. You never know. He's pretty slippery, old Lemon.
Old Lemon.
Donnie. Little Donnie.
All right. So, guys.
Trying to
I was going to say something about that Starbucks thing. What was it? I was too busy pulling up your meme. The meme machine.
Well, I can fill in you think if you want. They're having some other issues. A 5-year-old woman found a camera taped to a bathroom stall door under a changing station that had multiple videos of women going to the restroom. I would assume. I don't want to, assume what they were doing, but they're going to the bathroom.
There's a lot of stuff you can do in a Starbucks bathroom.
A lot of things going on. Regardless, Starbucks has got a lot on their plate right now, apparently. So, but if you remember, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more attention being paid to their bathrooms now for some reason. Who knows why? Well, the thing I wanted to bring up was that this problem with this bias in this training, so what's going to happen is that they're going to have to treat these people differently now. So if a black guy comes in and he's not buying something in the future, whereas in the past, normally they would have said, hey, okay, so you need to buy something, you need to leave, please. Like they start, they ask nice. Now they're going to say, oh, well, this is a black guy. I can't ask him to leave because if I do, the chilling effect caused by this event to where now, managers are afraid they're going to get fired because they asking a black guy to leave, they're gonna give these people more leniency than they would normally have because, well, they don't want to be seen as it's like the Starbucks version of the Ferguson effect. When police are policing black communities more, they don't want to police black communities because they don't want to be on the news for shooting a black person. Now Starbucks, they can't ask any black guys to leave because as soon as they do, there's going to be CNN headlines from Don Lemon all over the place about it. Everyone's going to be crying about it on the internet.
Oh, it's really the media at the end of the day. I mean, the media is to blame for all this shit that goes on. It has nothing to do with the cop or the victim or the suspect. It has the media is the suspect. And we're all victims of pretty much what they're shoving down our throats.
Yeah.
I've read that the woman who made the call is, I don't know whether she was terminated or left willingly was not hasn't been released, but she's left the company. But I can kind of see where the issue comes in. I mean, the call being made 2 minutes after they're sitting down. But then I also see.
Was it 2 minutes?
That's allegedly.
Allegedly 2 minutes. The 35 to the 37. But at the same time, this company, you're sitting in their seats, filling up their area where they are selling their products. Who knows if the manager maybe told her, or if they are instructed, hey, if somebody's here not buying anything. I know that I've walked into gas stations that won't let me use their restroom on road trips unless I buy something. Why do you get to sit in their store and have a business discussion? You go, anywhere else.
Well, that's what everyone does. That's the thing, though. Starbucks to me sells
coffee.
No,
along
loitering.
Business discussions.
They want people to just hang out there.
They sell the environment.
They really do. They want the environment is why. What's his name? Who's that asshole's name? That from Canada. The guy that created it, Starbucks. He wanted to make it more of an environment like that show Friends. I guess his idea came from that
Schultz?
Awesome early '90s show, Schultz. Yeah. So that's where he kind of got his idea. Want to make it more of an environment, I guess, and that's what it is. If people do just hang out there, and I don't know. There's not enough to the story. All there is a little video, and then by the time it gets to the news, the story's been changed so many times, I think.
And it's like, were they compliant? Were they non-compliant? Cut, you were telling earlier, we were just chatting a little bit before we went live. You seem to know a little bit more about, the actual details, whether they were compliant or not, that I hadn't read. And can you mind filling in?
They said 3 times the cops asked them to either get something or leave. And they refused that 3 times after the supposed call 2 minutes into them walking into the door took effect of the police being called. And when the police were called, the lady said, I have 2 gentlemen here who are refusing to buy anything and they're refusing to leave.
Which is
something along those lines. She just said 2 gentlemen refusing to leave, I think, is really what she might have said. But there's along those lines. Then when the cops showed up, they asked them to leave 3 times, buy something or leave 3 times, and then they didn't leave. So maybe to me it sounds like these guys have been there before. It doesn't sound like these that's what I'm gathering from it. Whether they were white, black, purple, green, Hispanic, Chinese, whatever the hell you want to make them. If it sounds like to me like they had been a problem in the past in that particular Starbucks, but we haven't heard that, we haven't seen that, so that's just my opinion. There you go.
Funny promoting me. Hey.
Outside. There you go.
Well, I wanted to ask you both real quick on that. Do you both? I want both of your opinions before I give my own. Do you think that maybe the call was made allegedly 2 minutes in? Was it profiling on her end? Was it her looking over at this table of African Americans versus 2 young white Caucasian females and being disturbed at, what it looked like? They're not buying anything. They're negotiating a deal of some sort. They seem suspicious because they're African American, but it's a business deal. But regardless, but what is it? Did they profile them, or didn't she legitimately say, "Get the hell out of my store if you're not going to buy my products"?
Well,
I don't know.
Matt doesn't know, so I'm gonna answer. I'll give you some time to think about it. So I just recently read a book from Thomas Sowell called Disparities and Discrimination, I think it's called. I forgot the name off the top of my head what it was, but it's all about how today the left, they use discrimination. They misunderstand the word, first of all. They don't understand that there's multiple types of discrimination. And I think what may have happened, now I'll give it to her, this chick. I said earlier that most of the people that work at Starbucks are, these social justice warriors anyway. So they're not going to outright be like, hey, black people, this is going to be a problem type of thing. They're going to be, oh, black people, I love diversity, whatever. But there's a different type of discrimination aside from pure hatred of a certain group of people. And that's a discrimination based off of a pattern of behaviors that you've seen in a certain group of people. So we know, both statistically and it represents itself in reality, that black people are more likely to commit crimes. It was an really urban area, so these people may have a tendency to be gang type stuff. Like you were talking about, or hinting at certain type of deals, whatever. Maybe this chick just had.
Negotiating a business.
Yeah, maybe this
So it
chick
does look
just
like
had, she had, based on her past experiences with this particular group of people, she had some kind of discrimination in her head. Not necessarily a hatred, but she thought in the back of her mind was thinking, oh, well, maybe these people aren't here for the most wholesome reasons. And maybe that led to her putting in that call. I think that's more likely what happened. I don't think there's like an outright bias against black people, if I was going to guess. And that's it's called type 1 discrimination, where you're not hateful of this particular group, but I think it was probably type 1 discrimination where, yeah, she saw it was black. She attributed that to being related to higher rates of, crime or whatever in her area, and then maybe it influenced her decision a little bit.
Like, I don't want to relate it to this, and I don't even know if this is too far-fetched, but it just popped into my head because my class talked about terrorism last week. It's almost, as far as profiling goes, it's like after the 9/11 attacks, when you would see a Muslim or anybody that, Middle Eastern person in the airport, whether or not you'd like to admit it, you might get a little uneasy following, in the years following those attacks. You can call it profiling, you can call it, thinking about what's happened in the past and basing your opinion off of that. Right. Whether it's right or wrong, obviously not every Muslim is a terrorist, and I don't at all believe in profiling any individual, because every individual is their own identity, regardless of race, ethnicity, regardless. But this situation in particular is very interesting because what were these men doing? I don't know what they could have been besides loitering, but which is something that she could kick them out for.
I think the best part is the fact that even if they bought a coffee, even if they spent $100 worth of, money in there, the manager still could have asked them to leave, and they still should have complied. Like, it's a privately owned, it's a private business. You should follow the instructions or the, demands of the owner or the manager. Get the hell out if they ask you to leave. It's that simple. It doesn't matter, even if they bought something.
Yeah. It's their store. It's I don't know really the rules anymore, but I know that aren't there rules that people in a privatized company, I know that Starbucks is obviously not like their own little mom and pop shack, but you can kind of deny people service, right? Is that right or wrong? Am I living in history?
You can refuse service to anybody for any reason. It doesn't matter.
Right. So, and they weren't even being refused service. They were just being refused a free seat for not buying anything.
What Starbucks is to coffee is what Nickelback is to music.
Stop. Stop.
She likes Nickelback, I think.
Oh, so, yeah.
I do not like Nickelback. Don't.
Okay.
Do not try to put my name out there like that.
I think the stupidest part of that whole story is the fact that we're all talking about it because we shouldn't be talking about it. The whole thing is a non-issue, but it puts...
All right, let's talk about something more important, whose opinion is valued throughout the news organizations. Very important right now. Stormy Daniels. She's Cohen raided the office. Cohen raided... I saw an interesting thing. Hold on, listen to this. This was a good quote. I think you guys would like this. Hold on a second. It's right fucking here. Hold on.
Like we've said before,
okay.
women,
So
the FBI,
rallying around this prostitute for that image. Yes, women, let's cling to it. Let's do it.
It's the best they got.
The FBI was told that a 19-year-old psychopath was going to murder children at the school, and they did nothing. A porn star says she had sex with our president, and they raided the president's attorney's office. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah. Well, the FBI has been full of shit for the past year, I think. They've been, even with the Mueller case, where Trump, after the raiding of the office, I don't know what action he's plans to take, but I believe he needs to fire that attorney general. It's time. I know it's a bad move for him politically, but damn, this guy's against him in a lot of ways and I don't know if you've actually read the document which allows Mueller the authority to investigate this, but subsection 2 of it says any and all situations that may or have arisen or may arise in the future that may relate to this issue. It's
Anything
like
at
so,
all.
so anything,
Anything.
you know, and it's like it's a witch hunt. Just like President Trump described it, it is a witch hunt, and it's time to let this man go because it's, you know, the fact that he's still running the country the way he is, with facing all of this is phenomenal. I'm going to probably get some criticism for saying that, but it's phenomenal. He faces so much ridicule on a daily basis, and by his own, you know, the people he works with, the people that are, you know, making his job even more tough, and it's already so tough, and nobody appreciates anything he does.
That's probably why he's got to golf so much.
Right? Just kind of ease your mind. Eat all those cheeseburgers that everyone likes to talk about. I'd be like indulging cheeseburgers too. I'd be pretty sad if the whole country hated me.
It's a unique position. I've thought about that. Like, how the hell does a 70-year-old guy, or however old he is, do a job of a president? You know what I mean? When you think of like a 70-year-old person, it's got to be a special kind of person to be able to go and go and go and go and go and go all the time like that and get all this crazy information that should cause mental stress on top of the physical stress of everything going out there. Like, he knows secrets now that people in the general public probably couldn't handle. You know what I mean? And there's been some people say that maybe he's on meth or something, but yeah, I don't know.
He's mentally unstable, according to like all of the left, even though his IQ, like anyone who says that President Trump is mentally unstable are the people who I want to look at and be like, can you just like describe your GPA for me, get range of numbers? Because I mean, you know, do you even have an IQ score? I mean, what is this whole president is mentally unstable, but he's changing the country in all of these amazing ways? What qualifies him as that? And if you want to relate back to Stormy Daniels, I mean, maybe he's mentally unstable, you know, in that social aspect. He's got some issues going on if he's cheating on Melania, you know. But that's not my issue. That's his personal life. That I didn't vote him in to be my spouse. I voted him into office to change the economy, which he's doing. I voted him into office to secure my borders, which is what he's doing, you know. And that's kind of, I'm a very firm believer, and every feminist hates me for it. I really don't give a damn about his private life. I don't care what he said on the bus. I mean, it's disgusting. Yeah, it's degrading. Yeah, but I still voted him in for the other reasons, and I hold true to it. And I'm happy that I did still. Even in light of Stormy, Matt or Kat, did you want to talk about Stormy?
Matt Cat. Matt the Cat.
Matt Cat.
No, so there was another one, I guess.
He loves
Who
talking
was
about
the,
Stormy.
yeah,
Who
you
doesn't?
can't. I mean, you gotta. There was a picture they had of De Niro Daniels, they called it, and it was a picture of Robert De Niro's face and Stormy Daniels' body. But it was really disturbing.
Oh no.
Google, here I come.
Yeah.
Can we get a link?
But,
What did De Niro just recently say that was really off the wall?
I love him, but wow, he says some really bad things that I'm like, stop.
You know, that sucks too. Like, well, Stallone. You know, Sylvester Stallone talked to Trump this morning.
Really?
To I think Jack Johnson. You want to pardon Jack Johnson. It's called a posthumous pardon, which means he's dead. He died in 1946, so they want to pardon him for the crimes that he did, which was according to what's called the Mann Act. So he married like 2 or 3 different white girls or something. He was a black guy, and he got in trouble because, you know, during those times, during Jim Crow, he went across the state lines with a white woman, and it took 2 hours for them to convict him. It messed up his career and everything like that. He did get out of prison. He went to Europe for a while, but anyway. But Stallone was talking to him about this guy, and this guy was asked to be pardoned by George W. Bush. Went through Congress, didn't make it to Senate, and then or went through Senate, didn't make it to Congress, and then they went to Obama, and Obama got all the way up to the president, and he refused to pardon this guy. But if you look him up, I think his name is Jack Johnson. And
wait, Barack Obama refused to pardon a criminal? Is that what you just...
this guy, to pardon this African American
boxer? Did I hear that right or wrong? Weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, this guy really wasn't.
He was black
criminal.
too.
Obama actually got rid of pardon action criminals.
This is even
This
weirder
guy
than the
did wasn't
Waffle House story.
But yeah, it was pretty. I thought it was pretty cool. I can only imagine the conversation. You know, Stallone and Trump. You know, SNL needs to grab a hold of that because the way they both talk, like, oh, it's gonna be the most beautiful. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna pardon them. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be huge. I think the people are gonna love it. Hey yo, Donald. Hey yo, or whatever the fuck he is. You know.
Now, I've watched a Netflix documentary. I'm sure a lot of people have talked or watched shit about President Trump. I can't remember what it's exactly called, but you see him in his younger days talking, and he doesn't sound as ridiculous. And like, I mean, I call myself a Trump supporter because like not in the context that everybody likes to say. I disagree with things that he does at times, but I do support him as the president of my country. Regardless, he stands. I do get a little bit of comic relief out of watching his speeches sometimes, because you're right, Kut. It's like, this and this, we're gonna make a difference. And then like when he exits the airplane, it's like
does his own like hair flip thing. Words. I have the best words.
So yeah, I mean, I know this is, I don't.
I have the best words. You're gonna love them.
Did y'all
Anyone that
watch
doesn't love these words are incompetent.
where he calls the survivor, believe the survivor of the North Korea hostage, either CJ and his real name's TJ or TJ's real name is CJ, and he's like, he lets me call him both. And I'm like, excuse me? No, he doesn't, sir. Like,
CJ.
Not true. It's just not true.
That's awesome.
Well, speaking of things I disagree with Trump on, and we can say this is old news, but it's big news. Syria. Do y'all disagree? Agree with what we're doing? I believe this is humanitarian work. He might be overstepping his his constitutional authority there, but let's talk about it. Let's get it on. Get some opinions.
I don't know. It depends on what we're trying to be. If we're trying to be the policeman of the world, then I do agree with what he did. But if we're trying to just protect our own people and not give a shit what the problems are in these other countries, then I don't agree with what he did. So I guess from my stance, I wouldn't agree with what he did, only because, it sucks that they're gassing kids over there and Assad was doing it. But I thought there was a lot of like just red flags that came up throughout the whole thing. I guess we were pulling troops out. And Assad would want us to get rid of our presence in Syria. And then all of a sudden he does this chemical attack. And then they're showing pictures. To me, I don't understand the chemical attack. I thought you were dead, like when there was a chemical attack, not just like kids with oxygen masks on. I didn't see any dead bodies in these pictures.
Depends on the chemical.
There's who survived age,
yeah.
like those chemicals
like
that
chlorine.
come from.
They were saying it was like chlorine or some shit.
It's chlorine, yeah.
It was some nasty, bad, burny chemical, horrible thing, and the U.S. intervening may have been the solution, and that's its own thing. But I think that constitutionally speaking, the president's, the powers have been expanding throughout history. But as far as war powers go, we're not at war with Syria. Syria's at war with itself. We're doing humanitarian work over there, and now we're sending missiles over when it's not a time of crisis for ourselves. It's a time of crisis for them. What? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do think it's kind of a catch-22 in a sense, because after he did that, Kim Jong-un's talking about denuclearization. So
yeah, because he's like,
it's like, so it's the same thing they said about Reagan. Like, just the world was scared to fuck of him, I guess. I mean, I was sperm, I think. I was a little kid, but anyway, he was when he was in, the world was in fear of him, and that's the same thing with Trump. I think when people see him, even Americans, they're like, this guy is fucking nuts. Like, I don't think I'm a little concerned, but at the same time, he's really smart. So there is a thin line, I guess, between insanity and genius. But I really don't think he's a bad person, because he was already living a lifestyle, a lavishing lifestyle before he got into becoming president. He didn't need to do this. I think his only motive could be because he wanted he wanted to make the country better than what it was, better than where it was heading. So,
has anyone seen Hillary Clinton's book? I want to, did she write a book about how they wouldn't let her be president, or was it just her talking about they would never have let her be president because she's female, and how the whole Make America Great Again logo was President Trump working backwards, wanting to go back to, bad things, make America great again, as in, I don't know if she's trying to associate that with, horrible things throughout history like slavery and so on and so forth, because, of course, Trump's a racist and white nationalist, so why would he not be trying to regress into slavery times? But, but basically she comes on and she just won't go away. She just won't.
She comes
really,
on
she's
new
like
excuses every day, it seems like.
Mitt Romney, did you see the Mitt Romney news? He in the primary votes or whatever for Utah, he didn't, this guy was ahead, so he's got to go against the guy. He's got to have a primary or something. So this guy was 50% and Romney was 41%. And I just think it would be hilarious. After all the things Romney, from being Paul Ryan, running for office and losing to Obama, and then bashing Trump, and then Trump gets in, calls him over for a meeting, and tells him, "Hey, Mitt, go fuck yourself," and then Mitt leaves. And now Mitt goes back to Utah, his home state, where it's all Mormons, and Mitt Romney was running to be the first Mormon president ever, and just another establishment candidate at the end of the day.
Right.
And now he can't even win in his own state after all this, which I just think is great. I
think
that
is pretty funny.
People are noticing that if you can't beat him, join him in a sense with Trump, because Nikki Haley wasn't a big supporter of Donald Trump during the primaries, and neither was Lindsey Graham. I'm sure you guys know that, and I'm sure you especially. He's still not, but he's warmed up to him a lot more now.
I can't even listen to Lindsey Graham talk about any policy. He just stopped immediately. I can't.
I just want to know
South
when
Carolina,
he was
by
born.
the way, he's listening, and that is one of our senators. So, or our senator.
The doctors told his mom that it was a boy. She looks to her husband and says, "Lindsay, I want to name him Lindsay." That's what I want to know. And that's probably how he got into office. Everyone was like, I'm not going to, boy, girl, who cares? Lindsay,
We're voting on female. No, I kind of wanted to, I know we're running a little bit short on time, so I don't know if there's any more huge topics, but I've got one with the midterm elections coming up. And, I've talked a lot with my uncle particularly because he's involved in politics, enjoys it. But I've asked him, because I kind of almost fear it. Do you all, not y'all, believe that y'all believe that there is a chance that President Trump will be impeached? And it's kind of worrisome if the, Democrats get the House. If they get the majority, they're already working their asses off to do anything they can to get him impeached, even using different things that aren't even, they aren't regarded as being reasons to be impeached or impeachable reasons. And it's like, okay, so if they win majority of the House, then what the hell's going to happen? I'm scared.
No, they won't, because they don't want Pence as a president. They say Pence is worse. Pence wants to electrocute the gays.
He also prays to God, and God speaks to him, and he got criticized for that. So that was that was nice. But
from Joy Behar. Joy Behar,
I hate her.
Called Mike Pence possibly he might be insane or have a mental disability, because people talk to him. They're saying Jesus talks to him. And if Joy Behar says there's anything wrong with you cognitively, you just take it doesn't mean anything.
It's okay.
Just look at Joy Behar. Try to listen to her for 20 minutes.
I just don't know how you can talk politics for basically your life, your career, and then say something you cannot be a figure and say something so inappropriate. It's like attacking a religion, which whatever, you can have your own beliefs, but so can he, and you can't call him. First of all, Trump's mentally unstable for, I don't know what reasons, but now the vice president's mentally unstable for being religious. So does that mean that like the Middle East is, for any gods that they are praising, are all of them unstable? Is anybody else who's not atheist? Are we all mentally unstable because you pray, because you do whatever? She's an idiot. Whatever.
I'm all for making fun of religious people, but as an atheist, but I mean, like, do it equally at least. Don't pretend like Islam is the best thing on the planet and whatever, but Christianity, oh, you're nuts if you think you talk to God. Right. Well, this guy's strapping bombs to his kid, and he's saying Allah Akbar, and then you don't have a problem with that, though? Well, you don't have a problem with a guy running throughout the street with a knife in his hand and yelling Allah Akbar, but that guy's not crazy, but Mike Pence is crazy. Okay. All right.
You can't have an issue with that because you're a racist if you do. You are a racist if you do, and you can't be racist towards President Trump because I don't know if y'all know the whole hierarchy thing about racism. You can't be racist if you're white because you're already top of the pedestal thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so apparently that nothing's racist that they say against him. But if we were to come out and say that, anyone that speaks out against the religion of Islam or radical Islam, let me be more specific, and these any terrorist organizations that are linked to, these religious, they're horrible Christians as well, but in theory, it's racist or it's horrible. Why would you talk about somebody of another religion? Well, you racist white girl, you racist white man, right? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's. I thought that was the cue of it. We could all just start making fun of Islam too. Like, oh, religion is open game now. Like, just we can do whatever, say whatever we want. I'm down with that. But nope, they had to back. Yeah, no. I'm still waiting for that day when religion is just like, let's make fun of Islam as much as we can. They can't even do it over in England where they're getting annihilated by it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the guy going to jail for his pug? He trained his pug to do the Hail Hitler salute. He's going to jail in
a pug?
Yep. You guys didn't hear about this?
To go on America's Got Talent. You got your dog hailing Hitler. That's weird.
He's going to be sentenced tomorrow. Think about this. This guy is going to be sentenced for. He was already found guilty. He's going to be sentenced because he made a YouTube video where he says "gas the Jews" and his pug reacts with a hand like up in the air like this. The pug puts his paw in the air. He's going to jail for that. Oh, he might go to jail for that.
You can't go to jail for that. I mean,
you can.
Freedom of speech,
no, they don't have freedom of speech over in London. This is over in London.
Oh, I thought this was America.
No. This is in Britain.
Wow, yeah, wow.
No freedom of speech. Where they're trying to ban knives. They're trying to bring in more refugees. They're throwing people in jail for making videos of their pugs. Like, what is happening over there? Does anybody know?
Wow, that's an interesting trick. Wow.
No,
but
Google Count Dankula is the guy's name, and he's got it's all such a joke. You're putting a guy named Count Dankula in prison. The dude was literally making just
free Count Dankula.
Yeah, a funny meme thing, and now but that's our future. That's where we're going. We can't talk about Islam. You can't make a pug say or do the Hail Hitler sign. You can't do any of that stuff anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of my favorite shows is Family Guy because I'm like an 11-year-old little boy in so many ways. But, they get so much criticism for little things like that. And they're like, people take such offense to it. It's like, come on, man. Can we be a little lighthearted? Do we always have to be PC, perfect? We're, like I've said before, we're all our own identity. We all find different things funny. I'm not going to I don't find Gas the Jews funny very personally. I'm sure this person doesn't find that very funny either. But, it's in whatever context and, the light-heartedness you make of it. I don't know. I get picked on for being, white girl all the time or, dancing weird. And I'm like, oh, ha, 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 funny. Why can't it be lighthearted? Why can't we just...
At what point does it turn into a crime? I mean, who was hurt in that situation? When I'm thinking of in violating the law, I'm thinking somebody had their freedom violated somehow. So how? Who did in that situation? You know what I mean? Somebody heard something that they didn't like. That's all that really happened. And that's all it's going to take at some point to be a criminal. You're already considered a thought criminal. You're going to be banned from being hired at Google or any of these tech firms.
Oh, yeah.
If you think that men and women are different.
What's his name again?
James Damore.
Oh no, his username.
Count Dankula, the British guy.
Count Dankula.
Yeah,
yes.
No, that's not James Damore, but that was a different story.
Oh.
No, Count Dankula is the pug guy. James Damore was the one that got fired from Google for saying that men and women are different biologically, and that's where we're headed. So.
No, yeah, you can't say that. There are 60-something different genders. If you're PC, you can't say that. I don't know what y'all's bathroom laws are like in your states or anything, or what bathroom laws are like overall, but I think it's kind of I have a very, very extreme liberal friend who I love very dearly. She'll probably watch this video, but we
Danny
pretty much
Farnsworth is
politically
watching
disagree on
us right
everything.
now.
Who?
Doesn't even let me invite people. Danny Farnsworth had him on my channel. He's a big Second Amendment, great guy. I don't know how to even use this thing if we even tried to.
But
all I know is
live?
my question is do deaf people slur sign language when they're drunk?
Probably, yeah. Probably your motor skills get hindered quite a bit. So you're
I
just
said that today, and I was like, I was pretty proud of that. It was pretty funny. Or do blind people lower their standards?
I don't know, but really, more to say on this. Covering enough.
It's a good segue. So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna do some commercials actually for this show. So it's gonna be different the way it's going right now. We got the live thing, everything, but we're gonna have. So as you can see, Jeremy can bring in the screen when he brings in something. So if we were able to do some stupid, we're talking about the other day, we're looking to do a Tide Pod commercial. Is all I'll say, and it's came up with some ideas for a Tide Pod commercial, and I think it'd be funny to kind of play something while we're talking about a subject, to just go to a sponsors. I don't know. That was just random.
Break.
I just want a commercial break.
We as a radio show.
I'm sure our sponsors, Tide Pod and Waffle Balls.
Part of having a show is you have to have sponsors. So we've reached out. We've reached out to a few different brands, and they have agreed to sponsor us. So we'll be showing commercials from them.
Ben Shapiro. Shout out, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Shapiro's going to come on the show now. He's got 1 million plus followers. We've got 3 viewers on Facebook right now. He's coming on whether he likes it or not.
We're going to make him famous.
No. yeah.
I like that.
We're ready.
Cool.
All right, guys. So then, what are y'all? We've hit an hour?
I think we're going to wrap up. I think I'm going to make some tacos.
Sounds good.
Sounds yummy.
9 o'clock, yeah. Oh, and,
we'll probably watch the guy.
And then I got a Madden tournament to go to. Big stuff.
Nice. Cool. Well, we'll meet back up here next Sunday, same time, right? 7:45 p.m.
7:30.
7:30.
7:45. Sorry. 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. Prime Meridian.
Yes. Yes. Right now it is 11:52 Eastern
Mountain Time. For those that are watching right now, that would be. Let's see, 8:30.
I have a British follower on the page. He asked me what time difference is. So can we figure that too?
9:30 Central Time.
British time, yeah. I've got a British follower who wants to know the time difference so he could keep up too. He stayed up till 4 a.m. to watch. I believe it was my interview with you, Kut. Our first interview together.
And Danny Farnsworth, I want to bring him on. He just messaged here for next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Our first guest, as we're trying to figure out how to get more followers and viewers and everything on here. He's watching us right now, and it would be awesome if we could figure this out as far as tagging and everything. Because I shared it on my page, and my buddy shared it on his page, who has 70,000. We're on Meme right now. They have 70,000 likes, and we're not getting viewed for some reason. So I wonder what that's all about.
Figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll iron it all out.
Censorship.
Wait until I upload it.
Mark Zuckerberg already found out about us.
We're getting sucked.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we're already being.
I love that picture of
monitored.
Tom from MySpace, like smiling, and he's just like, when you're not going to Congress hearings. He's just like,
So this will be available on the facebook.com/degree45. We're going to start up a YouTube channel for all of the podcasts. You guys can go back and watch them, listen to them on your way to work, whatever you want. youtube.com/degree45. Also, for alerts on when we're going to be going live, twitter.com/degree45. Check us out there for alerts. We'll share some fun stuff on there too. But yeah, I think that's it for us now. We'll see you guys next week with Danny Farnsworth, 7:45 p.m. PST. We are Degree 45.
10:45.
and God bless everyone, even the atheist from Weekly Narrative, Jeremy.
Thanks, Kut.
But yeah,
Appreciate that.
but yeah, Danny Farnsworth next week will be on 7:45.
All right, see you guys.
And all three
Have
of
a
us
good
will
week.
be here. All four of us. It's going to be awesome. Take care, guys.
Night.